What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 8, Episode 9, Beyond Scared Stormy. And before we get into the review, I just once again want to say a very quick rest in peace to Kiki Jabbar. I did do a very short video on her passing and how devastating it is for me because I'm a reality TV junkie, and when there's a reality TV show that I really like, I'm very dedicated to it from beginning to end. I know that every single show is going to have its off season, it's going to have moments when it doesn't do so well. If I like a show, I am there. I am dedicated. Whether I do a review on it or not, I am very dedicated. And Love and Marriage Huntsville is one of those shows that I really do enjoy. And Kiki Jabbar was a character that I really did like. I didn't have any issues with Kiki. And like I said in my previous video, I know she was going through some stuff. She was going through some struggles, not different from what a lot of people go through. And it seemed like she was just trying to do the best that she could. So just rest in peace to Kiki. I did a video about it. My condolences to her family, her friends. And it's going to be difficult for me to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville knowing about what happened to Kiki now. And then if there's going to be any scenes or episodes with her in it, y'all, I'm going to have like so much anxiety because when someone loses their life on a television show and knowing that they're going to be seen on that show, it's so hard for me. It is so difficult for me. But anyway, let's get into the review. So it starts off with Stormi getting ready to turn herself in. So she's with her little glam squad, getting her hair and makeup done, her hair and makeup done, and she's going to be going to the police station to turn herself in for the charges that were filed against her, stemming from the incident that happened between her and this person, customer, I don't know, melanator, I have no idea, who came to her warehouse to return an item. And from there on, something happened. Police were called. Stormi, there was an arrest warrant issued for Stormi. Now, it just made no sense to me why somebody will go to a warehouse to try to return an item. It does seem like it could have been, like staged, or it could have been fabricated just to get on her property to have some type of a confrontation with her. I don't really know. I hear that the lady who she had the altercation with is an older woman. So, maybe, I don't know, it just seems like a setup. That's what I'm trying to say. It seemed like it was a setup. And it seemed like, the lady thought because of her age that Stormi wasn't going to do anything, but the lady knew how she was going to be able to push her buttons to get Stormi to react. And unfortunately, Stormi fell for the okie doke and she let her emotions get the best of her. And the lady felt like it was within her right to call the police to protect herself. And now here we are, and she's going to have to turn herself in. So as she's getting ready, Courtney's mom, her mother-in-law, comes to give her a hug, offer her some words of encouragement. And Stormi mentions that her mom, when she told her mom about, the charges and everything else, her mom basically told her, well, that's what you get for being on a reality TV show, for being on reality TV. So, she's comparing how her mom was very dismissive of her situation, whereas her mother-in-law was very supportive and comforting. Now, Stormi still doesn't understand why she's in trouble for someone else coming on her property to antagonize her. Well, maybe because, Stormi, you let your emotions get the best of you. You couldn't keep, because we heard the audio, right? We did hear the audio, not on the show, but on other bloggers and other sites and stuff. You could hear the audio, and Stormi's buttons were definitely pushed. So Stormi, you're on a reality television show. Uh, your business is out there. You know what I'm saying? People are going to try to antagonize you. They're going to try to push your buttons. They're going to try to push you to the edge. You're going to have to learn how to control your emotions. And I don't really want to compare her to Melody, but Melody knows how to keep her cool for the most part. Melody knows how to keep her cool. Everybody should take some notes on Melody Rogers, because she knows how to keep herself composed. Except, I'm sorry to say this, except when it comes to Martell. Martell knows how to push Melody's buttons, because Melody will be cool, calm, and collected until Martell purposely will say the wrong thing to her on purpose to get her to react. and Melody ends up reacting. So Martell is the one person that can definitely get under her skin. Moving on to Letitia. So she meets up with Destiny and Trish at a candle making place. And Destiny's going to go into the candle making business, as if that's not the most stereotypical type of business these reality TV people can get into. So she's going to go into the candle making business. Okay, girl, that's fine. So then they start talking about the Lovers and Friends event. Destiny says that she didn't understand why Sonny wanted to have a conversation with her at the Lovers and Friends event. Maybe because there were cameras there, Destiny, and you knew beforehand that you were going to have a scene with her, and that was the whole purpose of y'all being in the same space, to create a scene and to have it documented for the show. Like, what are you talking about? Why were you confused about that? Destiny said that Moses was staring at her all night long, and that is why Sonny was so insecure. That's not a flex, Destiny. That's not a flex. That's not a flex. That Moses, I don't know if he was staring at you or not. I have no idea. If he was staring at you that hard and for that long, for you to mention it, none of that was caught on camera because they didn't show any of that. They show Moses stuff in his face. They show Moses drinking and talking to other people. I didn't see Moses, staring at you, or trying to sneak glances at you or anything like that. But even if he was, who the hell cares? Moses is for the streets. With all the women that y'all have mentioned, you and Sonny, with all the women that y'all have mentioned that he's been messing with between you and Sonny, from the time that he was with you and the time that he started seeing Sonny, he's for the streets. Okay, so who cares if Moses will stare at anything with a heartbeat? So who cares? So she also says to Letitia and Trish, she says that if she wanted Moses back, she could have him. It wouldn't be that hard to get him back. Once again, Destiny, that's not a flex. You're the one that talks about how he's a cheater because he was cheating with Sonny, either when he was with you or when he was with whoever else. He was still a cheater. He's a cheater. So he can't control himself. He can't control his impulses. He follows anything with a skirt on. So the fact that you can get him back, or the fact that he was staring at you, go, don't nobody care about that, because Moses is for the streets. So when she said that she can get Moses back if she wanted to, as if that was something impressive, Letitia and Trish just looked at her and didn't say anything. Moving on, we have Stormi and Courtney. So they're coming back from the courthouse. Stormi tells us that it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. They did have to put her in handcuffs for a quick minute, but they went ahead and they processed her. She said that the cops were really nice to her. And she tells Courtney that her mom never called to check on her, which I thought was very, very strange. It's understandable if her mom couldn't physically be there, but why couldn't her mom call to check on her? Like, I didn't understand that at all. You know that your daughter is going through something, and yes, she went against your wishes by being on this reality television show that you didn't want her to be on, which you yourself have appeared on. Why couldn't you be there for your daughter? Whatever she's going through, whatever the situation was, your daughter was in need of your support, and you didn't even give it to her with not even a phone call, a simple phone call. Stormi says that this is a repeat of every important moment of her life. Moving on from there, we have Trisha. So they show a clip of Trish talking to her kids about the possibility of her and Ken getting married. Her son is grown. I had no idea that she had like an adult son. I don't know if he's like in his teens or anybody looks like a man, or he really is an adult. I have no idea, but her son looks grown. So she's talking to her son and her daughter, and her kids are they're for it. They are okay with their mom getting married to Ken because they like Ken. They have a bond with Ken, so they have no issues with them being together. Now, one of her sisters comes over, and this whole entire scene to me was really strange because, number one, her sister had no idea that her and Ken had been living together for a year. Her sister had no idea that Trish had been separated from her husband for 4 years. And her sister was thinking that, okay, you're going to have a little fun with Ken, but eventually you're going to reconcile with your husband, right? And so, like, the sister was completely clueless. And I really am thinking that Trish keeps so much of her life to herself. I think she's so worried about her family passing judgment on her. Her family, it made it seem like it made it seem like her family is very, they're very much like into marriages lasting forever, keeping the family together. They don't believe in divorce. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like there's something going on where Trish felt as if she could not go to her family to let them know what she was going through with her husband, that she's kept a lot of this secret from her family because her sister was surprised that her and Ken had been living together for a year. Her sister knew about Ken, knew that Trish and Ken were together, just didn't know they had been living together. And I'm like, so the children didn't mention anything about who they were living with or who was in their home? That's very strange to me. And the fact that the sister was also surprised about Trish and her husband being separated for 4 years. Like, why were they surprised? I don't know what's going on with this family, but Trish seems to keep a lot inside. Now, Trish comes across as someone who is very health conscious because of, her parents passing away, probably passing away from physical ailments that could have been avoided if they led a healthier lifestyle. I don't know. But because Trish is so health conscious and, her body is banging and she's a trainer, she helps other people. She helps other people with their physiques and with their health. I need her to understand that being stress free is also a sign of health, and you keeping everything bottled in and not talking about your issues and keeping everything inside is not healthy, Trish. You need to talk to somebody. Maybe she's talking to a therapist. Maybe she talks to her friends. Because on the show, it seems like she's very open to telling people that she has a husband and a boyfriend. So maybe she is talking to somebody. But the fact that her sister had no idea with what was really going on with Trish and Ken made me think that Trish keeps a lot of stuff inside. So I don't know what's going on there. But at the end of the day, she said that her and Ken are much more compatible than her and her husband. When her sister asked her, so is there any chance of reconciliation? Trish was like, hell to the no. I'm not going to reconcile with my husband. No, I'm not. That's not going to happen. I want to be with Ken. And her sister ended up saying that, well, I just want you to be happy. And if Ken makes you happy, then I'm all for it. And that made Trish feel a lot better. So I guess she felt relieved that her sister wasn't going to be so judgmental, that she wants to stay with Ken. Now, the only thing we need, Trish, is for you to go ahead and get them papers filed, divorce papers. Moving on to Chris. So Chris is hosting like a bowling night with Martell, Courtney, and Ken. They asked Courtney about Stormi. Courtney didn't want to say too much. He tells us that he didn't really tell them that Stormi turned herself in because it was none of their business, which I totally agree with, but they're going to see it anyway on the show. So what difference does it make? Courtney tells them that, Stormi's doing good. She's fine. Don't worry about it. So they talk about the Lovers and Friends event. So Ken took this opportunity to bring up why Martell acted like he did at Stormi's house. So he asks Martell, why did you act like you didn't know Trish when y'all were at Stormi's house? And Martell said that he didn't recognize her. So then Chris Fletcher asked, how were you supposed to know who she was? Because they didn't understand. I guess Chris didn't understand, like, why would he know her? Like, what do you mean he acted like he didn't know her? Why would he know her? And Martell said, well, we were cool at one point. And then Chris says, where did you meet her at? And Martell said, well, she was cool with my brother. Martell asked Ken, how did she say she knew me? And Ken said, well, she said that she had been knowing you for a while. Martell said he never met her through his brother. So then Courtney says, well, so where did you meet her? And Martell said, out. So Martell is like, okay, she told you that she knew me through her brother, but I'm telling you that she doesn't know me through her brother. We know each other through other ways. And then Courtney was like, well, how do y'all know each other? Or how did you meet her? And he was like very vague about it. So Martell is starting mess, because his own marriage is ruined or was ruined. He ruined his own marriage. He is hell bent on ruining other people's relationships as well. So I'm like, how are you going to tell this big, buff, strong man who can bend you like a pretzel? How are you going to tell him or say in front of him that you met his fiance out? Like, how do you get your lips to form these words, Martell? So Ken said that Trisha was mad because she felt like she was getting played by Martell when Martell acted like he didn't know who she was. Martell said, well, if they didn't do anything, he basically says, if me and her never messed around, then I wouldn't remember. who she is. Okay, so he kind of cleared that up, basically saying that nothing sexual happened between him and Trish, because if anything sexual would have happened, he claims he would have remembered her. But knowing how much of a Martell is, I don't think he would have remembered her, even if something did happen, because Martell is also for the streets. So they talk about Trish still being married, and Martell calls Ken the side dude. And Ken is like, you know what? I'm the best side dude there ever was. He ain't phased by Martell. Chris asked if she filed the paperwork yet, and Ken said he trusts her. And if she said that she filed the divorce papers, because evidently, I guess Trish at this point has already filed the divorce papers. Ken says, I trust her. If she says that she filed it, I believe her. I'm not going to ask her for proof. As scared as she is about filing them papers, Ken, I would ask to see them. Martell talks about how much he wants to get married again. Chris Fletcher says, to who? Your baby mama? And Martell was offended by this for some reason. Why? Why are you offended by Chris Fletcher insinuating that if you want to get married again, you'd be getting married to your baby mama? Why are you offended by that? Who else would you be getting married to? Who else is next in line to be Mrs. Martell Holt? Moving on to Stormi. So Stormi, she's at home. Her mother's over. And they talk about Stormi having another baby. Her mom is in support of her using a surrogate because of the health complications that Stormi had before, where she almost lost her life. So her mom is like, if you want to use a surrogate, I totally support that. Stormi then tells her mom, but mom, you hurt my feelings when you weren't there for me when I turned myself in. And her mom said, well, she couldn't be there physically because she had to take care of her own mom. So she couldn't be there physically. But Stormi said that you didn't even call to check on her. So evidently Stormi had called her mom to tell her that there was an arrest warrant out for her. When she called her mom, it was like in the middle of the night or something. So she couldn't do anything right then and there. But the next day when she had to go process herself at the police station, get herself processed, turn herself in and do all of that, her mom still didn't call to check on her, which to me is very strange. Like, why wouldn't you at least give her a call to see how things went? Because Stormi said her mom didn't call. So the mom says, well, this isn't the first time that this has happened to you. And she was referring to Stormi getting arrested when she was 18. And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with anything? She was 18 back then. And this is the only other time that she's gotten in trouble with the law. And it's because, somebody kind of was like, got her out of her character. It wasn't like she robbed a bank or went to go do something on purpose. Somebody made her get out of her character. Maybe she had made some threats, made the other woman feel threatened, and the other one felt like she was within her rights to call the cops on her, or however that happened. But like her mom saying, well, this ain't the first time you got in trouble, as if to say, why should I drop everything and run to you whenever you get arrested because, this is your MO. That's how I took it. She was kind of like, well, you do this all the time. Why do I have to stop what I'm doing to come and rescue you or come be there for you? So I thought that was kind of shady of her mom to kind of bring up something that Stormi had done in the past to kind of prove that, well, this is your pattern. Okay, this ain't the first time you've gotten in trouble. So why would I have to stop my life to come be there for you? The mom once again blames Stormi for putting herself in that position where a melanator could be in a position to attack her or to put her out of her character. And I'm like, that doesn't have anything to do with anything, Mom. Whether it was with the situation with the melanator, whether Stormi was in the wrong or not in the wrong, none of that matters. The bottom line is your daughter was going through something. Whatever that something was, whatever X is, should equate to you being there for your daughter. You can show up and you can give her a piece of your mind, give her the business, but then show her support and love. You can give her a phone call, read her the riot act over the phone, and still show your support and your love for her. Why does it matter that it was involving these people or this show or this situation? It doesn't matter what she did. Something happened. She needed you and she felt like you weren't there for her. So the mom says that when she says something about Melody, she gets attacked by Melody's supporters. So just get offline. I hate the fact that these people spend so much time online because Marceau and Letitia, Miss Wanda, Stormi's mom, all these people are so invested and so involved with what people are saying online. You don't know these people who are online. They don't, maybe they help the show, they help pay your bills because the more people are talking, the more promotion the show gets. I don't know. But you don't have to be in the trenches with them. Do whatever you got to do to spark controversy. Do whatever you got to do on the show to, to be like, to be dramatic, controversial, whatever you got to do on the show to get people watching. But then in the comments, on the blogs, leave all of that alone. But these people are so invested in what people are saying about them online, on social media, that it spills into the show itself. And so we're spending an entire hour talking about all the stuff going on online. That doesn't make any sense to me. So Stormy says that oh, I forgot to mention this. Her mom also says, well, Melody can do more in controlling her supporters by issuing a statement or saying, hey, y'all, don't go to my castmates' businesses. Don't go to my castmates' homes, or don't say this and that about my castmates, or don't go on their social media bringing them hate. So Stormy's mom wants Melody to take some type of accountability of how her fans are acting and to issue a statement and letting them know, hey, don't do too much. Okay. Don't do too much out there. If y'all feel the way y'all feel, that's wonderful. That's great. You have the right to feel however you feel, but just, don't go to them directly starting a problem or whatever the situation is. So she wants Melody to take more of a stand in showing the public that she's not in support of some of her fans' tactics. Okay. Stormy says that, Stormy tells her that regardless of all of that, put all that stuff aside, her mom should have been there for her. And I agree. So her mom does apologize. And I'm still giving her the side eye, though, for not being there for her daughter. Like, I don't know how you couldn't even pick up the phone just to be like, how did it go? Were you scared? Are you okay? Nothing. But she did come over and they did talk about it and she did apologize. So I guess it did end on a positive note. Once again, rest in peace to Kiki Jabbar. You will definitely be missed as part of the Love and Marriage Huntsville family. Condolences to your family and friends. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.